Now, the Davos World Economic Summit. A few Lamborghinis there too. It kicked off today and Jackie Long is there, well, sort of.
Thank you, John. Well, we are in Davos. We're actually on Davos Drive, an ordinary street in an ordinary town in the middle of Britain. This place was built on the site of an old textile mill which was owned by a Swiss magnate. Well, as the great, the good and the hangers-on of the global elite gather in the Swiss skiing resort, we're here nestled in the Staffordshire Hills in Biddulph, just north of Stoke-on-Trent. Now, we've come to find out what the political, business and media elite talk about in Davos and whether it makes any sense here on Davos Drive and in the surrounding areas. Inside this house, we'll find out if getting a decent job, getting a decent house and raising a family is getting easier or harder, and whether the people who live here think that's going to change. We're going to discuss all that in a moment with our guests. But first, our man at the champagne parties among the ice sculptures is Faisal Islam. So Faisal, do the world's super elite really have all the answers?
Well, yes, Jackie, it's not just the 1%. There are really clever Nobel Prize winners, people inventing all sorts of robots, and the odd not yet rich world leader discussing things. But it's especially not the 1% because it's the 0.01% super elite here. And many will argue, having not exactly proved themselves in their own backyard of finance, what right do they have to pontificate over the likes of diplomacy, politics, social policy, environmental policy, and this suddenly discovered new area of inequality? It is the hot topic here in Davos this year, and let me show you how just one of the meetings, long queues to discuss philanthropy at round tables. You might see Bob Diamond in that queue. Champagne was flowing, the canapés were flowing, Ukrainian billionaire hosting the likes of Tony Blair, of Richard Branson, Bill Gates, Mohamed Yunus, the Nobel Prize winner, with Matt Damon in the audience. And they feel there's two big areas of wins in this right to discuss this policy. Firstly, corporate, private philanthropy. Bill Gates thinks that they're winning the battle against things like malnutrition, infant mortality, illiteracy. They're going in the right direction. But bigger than that, where are the big wins in terms of lifting people in the world out of absolute poverty? They say that it's come because of capitalism in the likes of China and to some extent India. But what's changed now is that perhaps the cost of that is the expectations of rising living standards in the middle classes of the West are starting to stall. And that means either rising unemployment or stagnant wages. And that is an important issue corporately. Big car manufacturers want to sell. It's no good if all the returns to growth go to the super rich. They need a middle class to buy their cars. And don't take my word for it. Just 2 hours ago, one of Britain's trade representatives tweeted from Davos the following: growth and countering inequality, the important themes at Davos. That trade representative, the fifth in line to the throne, the Duke of York, tweeting about countering inequality.